I watched a movie
Playing with
that
fire?
no, not playing with fire. I watched a movie this week called Vacation Friends. Okay, and here's my thing. I have to know. Have you guys heard of it?
Well, here's where we have to insert the cricket noises because I've never
No.
heard of this.
I have not. I'm not at all familiar.
Really?
But is it? I mean, it sounds like a really bad comedy.
Well, okay, you're almost right on the nose because that's exactly what I was expecting. Just a bad comedy, right?
Okay.
And
It was
screams,
one
"Hey,
of the
let's
things,
watch this then."
right? Well, here's what it was. Will, let me explain it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. My wife and I were watching our favorite thing on television, which is what are we
I see
going
what
to
you did there,
watch on?
too.
Well, it's called what are we going to watch on one of our streaming services, where we just look at a whole bunch of things and add stuff to our list or whatever, but never actually pick something to watch, right?
Right.
So I had made a decision beforehand because I was scrolling through Facebook and I just saw an ad for just John Cena and it was Del Rey, the comedian, in Vacation Friends. And I said, I just looked at it, and on the poster there were no actors that I disliked. You know, there was nobody that would keep me from watching it.
There's no
So I said,
Pete
all right,
Davidson.
no Pete Davidson, another like that, no one like that. So I said, okay, well I'll bank that for later on. And so when the wife and I sat down, I immediately went to Hulu and I went to Vacation Friends, and it wasn't available. And so I said, okay. And so we just made a mental note. And literally the next day, because I guess I had gone to it and everything there, they sent me a trailer and was like, hey, here's the actual trailer from, because I hadn't even seen the trailer yet. And so I see the trailer and they're like, it comes out tonight, my guy. I'm sorry. So we came back, we watched it the next night. And I got to tell you, I was expecting just like I was expecting a bad comedy where maybe I might laugh one or two times, you know. And I got to tell you, this movie is not a great comedy either. It's one of those nice little middle of the road. This was inoffensive. This was fine.
I can't wait. That's a ringing endorsement. I can't wait to watch
this
it.
was good. Like, well, hold on. Here's the thing, because there's some things in it.
Decent, you guys. It's
no,
just
no.
It's a solid C plus.
It was
the most mediocre movie I've ever seen.
No. That in itself is a downplay. Because here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I went in expecting McDonald's, you know, and I didn't come out with Ruth's Chris, but maybe Olive Garden.
that metaphor definitely does not work on me because I like all three of those things.
See, so watch the movie. Watch the movie. You'll enjoy yourself.
All right.
Fair enough.
I mean, what is it? We don't even know what it's about.
Okay, so here's what it's about. All right. Without spoiling anything, no spoilers in this review.
Yeah.
You get this couple that's going on vacation, and it's Del Rey. He's planning on proposing to his girlfriend. They get to the hotel, in their room, there's an issue with their room, and they bump into this other couple, this really friendly, obnoxious, and insane couple of John Cena and his girlfriend. And they're this couple that seems to they have no investments or anything, because every year they just save up all their money and then spend all of it before the year is out, and then work their way and save again. They're like that's these people.
Right.
So you know, and he's like a park ranger or something like that. Like he's not like, it's not like he's some investment person. They just save up and just spin out. So they've got like the presidential suite and everything there. So they've got enough room for them. So they say, you know, the stuff with your room happened. Come, just stay with us. Just stay with us. And then after that, they have this insane just time there on vacation and everything there on the islands and everything. And then, you know, Del Rey and his girlfriend, you know, they propose and everything there, and they're going to be, you know, they're going to get married. But then when they're leaving, they just kind of want to leave this craziness behind, right? And so they're thinking they're done with them. until they start planning their wedding, and then these guys show back up in their life, and their very conservative families and everything there are now having to, they're trying to deal with them being there and dealing with all of that as well. So it's very, very basic.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds
Right.
like a very
But
mediocre movie.
yeah, that's really is. It's a very mediocre movie that's doesn't offend anybody. The people who watch it laugh a good couple of times and you feel fine. And then before you anything too crazy, there's a couple of things where it feels predictable and you think something's going to happen, then something different happens, and then by the end of it, the star of this movie for me was John Cena. And that was kind of the interesting thing, was that it made me go, wow, John Cena really, like, don't get me wrong, Del Rey's great too, right? And it's really built around him as as the protagonist, right? But John Cena and his supporting role for it, I think he's really good at comedy. And I think he should kind of not stay in that wheelhouse, because he's also a great action star too, obviously. But I think he's really got some comedic timing that,
Yeah.
WWE writing never really
Yeah,
brought out of him.
No. No.
I've always thought that. I've always thought that John Cena was actually an underrated comedic actor. Ever since I saw him when playing
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the part that's what I would say is the part that's worth looking into. Kind of how The Rock had some movies that were coming out and they weren't.
Hey, The Rundown
they
was awesome.
yeah. Well, he
Which
made
one
some
was
that were.
awesome?
The
He
Rundown.
made some. The Rundown. I
never
love The
saw
Rundown.
it.
That's my favorite Rock movie, because if anything, if nothing, then for the Arnold Schwarzenegger cameo, the little passing of the torch at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
dope.
Yeah.
Okay, so but but he had movies like Walking Tall, right? Like Walking Tall, very mediocre movie. You see what I'm saying? But if you watch Walking Tall while The Rock was on that progression, you probably went, that's a pretty good Rock movie in of itself. Like, you can see
Yeah.
that progression of
Yeah.
him as an actor.
At the time, yeah.
That's a good John Cena movie. Okay.
Right.
I don't think it's gonna the fact that it broke those records for Hulu and everything, and now they've already greenlit a sequel, shows it's a very good thing for him. It's a vehicle, ride that one, John. Like I said, do that,
Fine if I do. Yeah.
he actually became kind of the star of this movie, because by the time that movie's done, you have he has more of a, like, again, Del Rey has the arc and everything as the protagonist, but you go through so many different emotions and ideas and thoughts and feelings about John Cena that before the movie's over, that I think he ends up stealing it, kind of, in a way.
Yeah. All right.
Sweet.
Well, that is Vacation Friends, and you can find it on Hulu. So
Yes.
thanks
Not
for the
Vacation Buddies.
not
Yes, not
Vacation
Vacation Buddies.
Yeah, that's a private joke.
Although you know what, honestly, you'll probably still find it even if you search for that.
That's a good point. Yeah, you can find it on Hulu. It's a very
Vacation
mediocre movie. So
Acquaintance.
run out and
Yeah, if you're looking for
sorta
like
watch
a
it.
really, if you're the kind of person who's just like, you know what, I've just seen too much really good stuff lately, and I'm looking for a solid, like, I'm looking for a really good, like, 6.5, 7 out of 10 evening. Like, I think I'm gonna have like a steak with no seasoning on it, and just a glass of water, and a movie to go with it.
Is 3 years.
That's a little rough. This steak is at least seasoned with salt and pepper, sir.
Okay, fair enough.
At least.
Fair enough.
Well, okay. Well, Nick, what have you been watching this week?
Very recently, I went back and rewatched a movie that I had watched several years ago, and at the time I liked it, but I didn't love it. But upon rewatching it, I loved it, and it's not recent at all. This movie came out in 1974, but Chinatown. I went back and rewatched Chinatown for the first time in a long time, and I loved it. The whole, I mean, it's not for everybody. Like, it is basically it's a neo noir. So if you're a fan of film noir, if you're a fan of mysteries, I think you'd really like it. The screenplay is fantastic because it's one of those stories, and the statute of limitations for spoilers has long since expired on this movie, but I'm not going to spoil it because it's really that good. It's one of those stories that it starts off as one thing. Jack Nicholson is the star of it. He plays a private investigator named Jake Gittes, and basically the inciting incident of the movie is like this woman comes in and tells him that, she suspects her husband's been cheating on her, and she hires him to, gather information on him. And from there, it's just like one thing leads to another, and he learns more and more stuff as he's investigating, and it turns into like this thing that involves like the LA water supply, which I know sounds super boring, but it's absolutely not. And it just evolves into this crazy thing that involves like a family and all these weird, dark like dynamics that you just don't see coming. And I'm a big fan of stuff like that. I like Jack Nicholson. I like noirs and thrillers and stuff, and I love a good mystery. And just upon watching it again, I was just like blown away. And I was like, I don't remember enjoying it this much the last time I watched it, but like sometimes that happens. Like, you guys ever had that experience? Like, you watch a movie and like you like it fine, but then like you watch it later on down the road and it's almost like you see it with new eyes, and you just see something in it you never saw before, and you're like, no, this is actually amazing. Like, this
Absolutely.
isn't just good. This is like fantastic. That's what I've been watching lately. If anybody wants to check it out, I was watching it on Amazon Prime because they have it. It's one of the few movies they have in 4K on there. So if you have the capabilities to watch it in 4K, it looks gorgeous.
Awesome.
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna have to check it out because it's been a very, very, very long time since I've seen it, and I remember
it is not a family film. I'll say that up front. The John Cena
Don't
movie
bring
is
your
probably one
kids.
you could watch with the family, I'm guessing.
No,
But
you cannot watch
oh,
that
you
with
can't.
John.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh no, he does so many drugs. No, you
Okay. Okay.
can't.
Never mind then. Okay.
that kind of vacation friends. I see how it is.
Yeah. That's what they're trying to hide is all the drugs, man. Don't no,
right.
you can't bring the family. Don't bring your kids.
Yeah,
Well,
but that
that's-
was so I watched that recently. That was just very, very good. I can't say enough good things about it.
I've actually never seen Chinatown. So
I believe
that's
that.
one of those ones that would be which is interesting because I actually like noirs and neo-noirs and
You
everything.
might that would be an interesting one to do, because I would be interested to get your opinion on it. You might like it, but I could also see you not really liking it that much.
Well, here's the crazy thing. It's one of those ones, how like every once in a while someone will bring up a movie that was so popular, and it is so popular, you're surprised that you never even knew about it before someone like literally brings it up to you or you see it in something. That happened to me with that what's that Tom Cruise movie where Tim Robbins plays the devil, and it's a Legend. Yes, with Legend. Someone was talking to me about Legend, and I was just like, wait, what?
Tim Curry plays the devil.
Yeah, Tim Curry. That's right. Tim Curry. That's right. Tim Curry plays the devil.
I've never seen this either. Is this an
Oh.
older?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, so
I haven't seen it.
I've been a fan of Tangerine Dream, which is a band that does lots of used to do a lot of soundtracks for movies, and the only reason I watched Legend is because Tangerine Dream did the soundtrack, and it's
That's
probably the only good thing about the movie.
Yes, that's what I've heard. Well, hold on. The one other thing I'll say is the prosthetic makeup and everything for the
Tim
devil
Curry was
pretty cool.
He was phenomenal. Yes,
Tim Curry is always great. I defy any. Tim Curry makes anything better.
This role, aside from Dr. Frankenfurter, is probably his absolute best. He was unbelievable in that movie.
But he couldn't save the movie.
He could not, sadly, because it was Tom Cruise in the lead role. It was a fantasy film with like unicorns and princesses and Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise just doesn't fit that mold.
Yeah, so this must have been earlier in Cruise's career.
Yeah, it was just out of Risky Business and All the Right Moves, and then the next thing he did was Legend. So
that's the thing that threw me when someone was bringing.
Oh yeah,
up,
1985. Yeah, wow.
They were like, yeah, it was after Risky Business, and that's the part where it was throwing me. I was like, there's no way that this movie came out after Risky Business.
This looks like nothing. This looks like nothing that Tom Cruise would ever be in.
Right.
Oh, yes,
like
never now.
The poster looks like it's
already made that failure once.
The poster looks like a cross between like Labyrinth and The Last Starfighter or something like that. Like,
yeah,
great way to describe it. Actually, yeah.
That looks like nothing that Tom Cruise would ever be.
And that's kind of the way it was described to me when they were telling me about it, Will. And so I'm just like, no, none of this. Like, kind of how you're saying this doesn't look like some Tom Cruise would do. Imagine being told it because like someone was telling me, and I was just like, no, you're just. And I think even at the time we were like at a party, and I'm like, no, you're screwing with me. There's no way this happened.
Now I know what my film is going to be when I do the challenge. You will watch this movie.
Yeah, you have to experience. I experienced it. You do too.
So, what have you been watching, Will?
So I actually just tried to watch the TV series that I heard so much about. People raved about this thing. It's called Dark on Netflix.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a German
I've
series
I've heard
about
of that.
time travel, right? And I've been saving it. I wanted to make sure it was a time where I could actually really dive into it and really understand it, because I heard it was hard to follow and you had to really pay attention. Oh boy. What they didn't warn me about is about kids getting tortured and murdered at the same time.
What?
I couldn't. So
Interesting.
if it would, I could probably have handled the fact that the kids have their entire eyes burned out and their eardrums burst out through these tortures.
What?
Yeah, I could have.
I might have to
handled
check
all
this
that
out. This
stuff.
sounds hardcore.
It is.
When they said dark, they meant that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
they
is.
didn't lie.
And to make matters worse, they actually go into a cave for the time travel elements, right? Get it? Dark. It's dark in so many
Yes,
levels.
gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
oh my God, after like I got an episode and a half in, and I looked at my wife and I said, "Are you done?" And she said, "Yep." And we said,
Yep.
"Off."
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something that you would like.
No, and not only it wasn't just the darkness of it, but it was just so damn complicated. There's no need for that, man. I watch TV just to be entertained. I don't need to try to make a diagram with the string to figure out how things are connecting together. I still have no idea what happened in the series. I have no clue. I heard 3-4 seasons in or something like that. People were raving about it. Oh, this is the best time travel movie. Oh, and I'm a big sci-fi fan. Time travel is a big ticket thing for me. Nobody, not for me. So,
Wow.
definitely don't run to watch it if you don't want to watch it. That's not something I like. But that's Dark on Netflix. You guys might love it. You might.
I was gonna say, like, the time travel thing is like, time travel is not a huge thing for me, but like you describing like how like they really go there, like with the kids and stuff. I'm like, I kind of have to see that. Like, not really that I want to see. I'm like, it takes a lot of balls to do something like that. I kind of respect that.
I mean, the first thing.
Yeah, well, I'm
there's a kid.
opposite on that.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm
kind of at that point where it's it's interesting because I appreciate having the balls to go there, but my thing would be, did you need to? If it served like a real true purpose, and so far from the setup that I've heard, if it really disconnects you that much, then it probably wasn't serving a greater story. It's probably seems like it seems like something that it was like shocking for the shocking the sake of shocking you.
Yeah, it just
and
it was not a feel good series.
you know what? I gotta be honest with you though, Will. The title doesn't tell me that's what.
No,
I'm getting.
it doesn't tell me that either. Like,
Fair point. But I just, now, in all fairness, I got an episode and a half in, so I may not be giving it its due. Or maybe I should have just stuck with it a couple more episodes and tried. But man, this is not the first time I tried sitting through this thing. This is the second time around. I really sat. This time I'm going to do it. This time I got 5 episodes in last time, and I could not tell you a single frame of what happened after what I watched yesterday, because
You know what?
it's too difficult to follow.
That's just it's interesting. People always tell me that, and I think it's actually a pretty fair critique because we're talking about television shows, and shows are serial. They're expected to go on and on. So honestly, it's like watching one episode is not a good, especially because it's likely a pilot. They're just getting their feel out. They haven't figured out what they are, their identity. And some shows don't even get that in the first season. It's really that's why usually second seasons are what really kicks.
And
But
I buy it, but here's the thing: if I can't follow the storyline, that there's a very real possibility or probability that by the end of the season, I'm going to turn around and go, "What the fuck is going on in this thing? I have no
yeah,
idea."
no, you're absolutely right.
Right? There's another series that came out a while ago that was about time travel, and they played with the timelines and made it really like mind fuck kind of thing.
Was it a Netflix series?
It actually, it's sci-fi.
Sci-fi series.
12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys was a series.
Oh, yeah, the 12 Monkeys. Yeah,
that was so, like, the first couple of episodes, they were playing with time, but they tied it all together so it made sense. Whereas this one is like, we're going to make you guess until the last episode, and then we're going to tie it all in together. Well, I'm going to have forgotten what the hell I just watched 5 weeks ago when I started watching the whole season. So that doesn't work for me.
I see that.
I'm just
I
a
agree with
different kind
that.
of guy.
Yeah,
No,
time travel is a
see
hard concept for
that.
me to follow in general sometimes when it's not done a certain way. Like I had that problem when I watched Interstellar. Like I need to go back and rewatch
Mhm.
it because I got so I mean the movie's beautiful. I love Christopher Nolan. I love the
Yeah,
cast.
I
Everything's
love
great about it. But
Interstellar.
like I got so bogged down by like the science and the physics in that movie that I just couldn't connect to any of the characters or like any the
Wait till you
story.
watch Tenet.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Have you not watched
I'm
it
sure.
yet? You've
No,
not
I haven't
seen it
watched
yet?
it yet. No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
so that's
Tenet.
one you'll have to watch that several times too.
That's what I've
Yeah,
heard.
the one thing I really liked about Tenet was and no spoiler on this, but there's a scene where he starts explaining the movie to you, and then like as like through a character, and she literally says, "Don't try to understand it." Like you'll get we got like it was, and I felt like that was him literally telling us, "I get it. I'm saying a lot of stuff right now. We got like 3 hours, man. Just
Just bear with it.
rock with me.
Yep.
Just be."
Yep. And
Yeah.
if I know that going in, then I can handle it. Like a 3 hour movie, I
Right,
can handle. But a 10 episode series I'm going to watch over several weeks.
Right.
right.
You got me lost, man. I can't do it. But
It's
I
tough.
understand you. I'm
Yeah, it's
with you
tough.
there. I'm with
I
you
feel
there.
that. I feel that.